It's time for more campfire cooking in another world with my absurd skill. A new episode just came out, and boy oh boy did we finally get our sea battle. And this is my review of episode 11 of Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill Season 2. And like usual, a warning, there will be spoilers here. And let's start with a recap. The episode starts with Makoto and his familiars running through a forest area and reaching an opening that gives them a clear view of the ocean. Excited by the sight, the gang take the vastness of the ocean in before entering the city next to the ocean, called Berliand. As the gang walks through the city, Makoto notices how empty the famous fish market is and notices the bummed out faces of the locals. Stopped by a local fisherman, Makoto is informed that a Kraken had recently appeared near the shore and that the fishermen had been unable to go out for fish for a while because of it. No fish means no fish for the fish market. From there, the gang head over to Berliand's Adventurer Guild and meet Marks, the guild master. Hearing that they had already heard of the Kraken, Marks asks if it would be possible for the gang to do something about it. A quest that Fel enthusiastically agrees to and drops a comment about how delicious Krakens are. While a little taken aback by the idea of eating Krakens, Marks is grateful that Makoto will take on the quest. Makoto leaves after telling Marks that they'll make their preparations before going out to take on the Kraken. As is becoming routine, Makoto then heads to the Merchant Guild and rents out a giant mansion for him and his familiars to stay in. The familiars, especially Dora and Sui, are thrilled by the size of the place. While the familiars hang out and explore the mansion, Makoto makes some hayashi rice with cooking scenes that are riddled with the good old product placements. Hayashi rice is a kind of beef stew in Japan. It's usually made up of sliced beef, onions, and mushrooms. It comes with a demi-glace that is made using tomatoes and red wine. Like with how Makoto prepares it in the episode, hayashi rice made in the household often utilize instant roux blocks, like say the ones from S&B, to make the demi-glace. The overall dish has a savory, tangy, and sweet taste to it. After finishing making his variation of hayashi rice, the Minotaur and mushroom hayashi rice, Makoto calls out to Sui and Dora to come back inside for dinner. Whoever thought of having these two swaying back and forth like a swing is a genius. Scene is totally adorbs. Pulled in by the appealing scent, the familiars enthusiastically dig into the hayashi rice and are impressed by the taste. They of course ask for multiple servings and enjoy the dish to the max extent possible. Satisfied by the dish, it almost looks like mealtime is over, but the familiars jump back in to demand dessert. For as Fel puts it, it is a matter of course to eat dessert after a meal. Justifying it as a way to pump them up before taking on the Kraken the following day, Makoto obliges to their demands and serves the familiars some cake and pudding, something that they happily munch on, very much in the same way that you should munch on that subscribe button to get more fun videos like this in your subscription box. The following morning, the gang find themselves looking out into the ocean and ready to take on the Kraken. Well, almost ready. Realizing that they need some kind of means to get to the Kraken in order to defeat it, Makoto goes about trying to find someone who's willing to get the gang to the Kraken on their boat. Understandably, none of the local fishermen and boat owners are willing to risk their boats and lives to get to the Kraken. And Makoto and Fel are left lost as to what to do next. Right when all hope seems lost though, Makoto observes Sui swimming in the ocean and has a eureka moment. Why not have Sui giganticize and take the entire gang across the water to the Kraken? Successfully implementing this idea, the gang seem to successfully be able to get to the Kraken, until it becomes clear that the gang seem to have wandered into the middle of a great sea-based kaiju battle between the Kraken and a sea serpent. Seeing this as nothing more than an opportunity, Fel and Dora strike both creatures down with their magic and give a smug expression as they watch the defeated creatures float in the ocean. As Makoto tries to figure out a way to put the defeated creatures into his item box, another sea creature approaches the gang from behind. Detecting its presence, Fel gets Sui to get the gang away from the defeated creatures. As soon as a bit of distance is put between them and the defeated creatures, Makoto is left amazed as a giant hippo-looking fish suddenly springs out of the water and takes both the defeated Kraken and sea serpent in its mouth. Angered by this blatant act of theft, Sui attacks and defeats the giant fish, leaving the gang with 3 defeated giant sea creatures. Makoto uses his appraisal skill and identifies the giant fish as being Aspidokelone, a S-rank monster. Upon coming back to shore, the gang head to the Adventurers Guild. Shocked to hear that the gang had already gone out to sea and come back, Marks listens to Makota's report in disbelief. Using this report, Marks summarizes what probably happened. The Kraken and sea serpent had come to the local fishing area after being attracted by the population of small fish living there. The Aspidochelone, in turn, had come after being attracted by the Kraken and the sea serpent. And the three S-rank monsters were almost instantly defeated by a skinny adventurer and his familiars. Marks takes the entire absurd situation in before asking about how the gang had made it out to the sea when they hadn't even borrowed the Adventurers Guild boat. A question that leaves Makota and the gang in a daze as it sinks in that they could have simply asked the guild for a boat this entire time. Putting all that aside, Marks has Makota take out the sea creatures that they had defeated and has the butchers get to work before the meat goes bad. In exchange for the help with butchering the meat, Makota makes a deal to share some cooked Kraken with Marks, butchers, and the local fishermen. A deal that a hesitant Marks agrees to. With the butchering in the hands of the experts, Makota uses sake, mirin, soy sauce, and grated ginger to prepare a large amount of the sauce that will be used with the Kraken. Once the Kraken is done being butchered and its meat is placed on a wired rack, Makota, with the help of the locals, lathers the sauce onto the Kraken and starts cooking with his admittedly puny fire magic. Seeing the rather pathetic sight, Fel intervenes and uses his magic to perfectly cook the Kraken, leaving the locals impressed and Makota exasperated. The grilled Kraken now cooked, Marks brings loads of alcohol to celebrate the extermination of the Kraken, while Makota slices away and starts adding the final touches to the Kraken dish. Enthusiastically digging into their dish, the familiars seem satisfied with the Kraken, but Marks and local fishermen are left a little lost as they stare at the grilled Kraken that Makota had given them. Deciding to give it a go, they all take a bite and are taken to Kraken heaven. Happy with the food and the idea of being able to fish again, the local fishermen come by to thank Makota and they all drink and feast together. Later that same day, the familiars can be seen taking a nap while the same fishermen from earlier start going out to the ocean to fish once more. Impressed by their ability to go fishing after eating, drinking, and partying earlier in the day, Makota comments on how tough these fishermen are. A comment that Marks agrees to before stating that one cannot be a man of the sea without that level of toughness. Marks encourages Makota to check out the following day's fish market, which should be lively with the freshly caught fish, and Makota responds that he can't wait. And this is where we leave things with episode 11. So, some thoughts. In my opinion, this is probably one of the best episodes we've gotten so far in Season 2 of Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill. It's a nice balance of the familiars, cooking, exploring a new place, and taking on a creature in a fight. Almost like it takes all the best bits of this franchise and just had them all neatly packed in one episode. The animation quality felt a little bit better with this one than it did with the previous episode, which I appreciated. Getting to see Dora and Sui playing around like little kiddos was endearing, and we can all appreciate the level of detail they put into the familiars eating as they get sauce all over their face. It's one of those fine details that helps make this show nice and heartwarming and fun. The way I see it, episode 11 is probably going to be one of the highlights, one of the more memorable episodes of this season, if not the most memorable, and the fact that we are getting such a strong episode right before the final episode, which is next week. Very sad that it's ending. But the fact that we are getting such a solid episode here really makes me think that we're going to end strong with this one, and that's always a good sign with an anime, you know? But those are just my thoughts. If you agree, disagree, have other thoughts to share, feel free to do so in the comments down below, and I'll try to respond to you. And yeah, I'll be back here next week again to review episode 12, or the final episode of Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill Season 2.